friends to see those pictures. Don't put it for the entire world because it can be misused. Privacy is important. Please maintain the privacy of your own self. It's for your own good, right? There are serious consequences of social media. For example, the Twitter postings we saw last month, right, without naming anyone. They led to a huge disharmony, lot of media attention, with a very sad ending. Right? It may have started very innocently, but it blew out of proportion. And I sometimes blame even the electronic media for having, blowing things out of proportion. But then you are causing it by writing private stuff on public media, right? Don't use bad language, abusive language. Defamation cases are filed on social media, on the basis of things said on social media. Chandra will know there's a recent case just about 10 or 15 days back in the US where a person was held guilty of contributory infringement in a copyright dispute just because she posted a link to a particular script on the net. The script was not yet published. You could be in serious legal trouble. So teach this to yourself and your children. Do you know about the case? Yeah. So these are the things that I feel we should be very careful. You cannot withdraw what you put on the social media. It can be copied easily. Who owns rights? Right now, on Facebook, there's something called Facebook Look Back. Right? They have made a video of your photographs. Who owns the rights in that? Can you tell them to take it off? Will they take it off? Tomorrow there is a picture of you standing, maybe not, if you're a 16-year-old teenager, it remains on Facebook for 40 years, 50 years. Would you like that to happen? Post things which you feel comfortable with. Keep the line. Right? And it's like spilt milk. What you put on social media is spilt milk. You will never be able to withdraw it. Be very careful. There was another case which I'm aware of a particular boy sending friend requests maybe 500 times to her. That was noticed by her prospective fiancé on Facebook. And it led to a huge disorder. I'm just telling you. I mean, these are practical realities. I may sound very conservative, old mama kind, but
it is a fact.
But that's a fact. We all live in society. Right? He didn't like it at all. I'm sure he has sent 20,000 requests.
WhatsApp पे आता हूँ, Truecaller के पास आता हूँ. Truecaller में अब देखिए हम लोग ना सब जो जीवन है इन फोन्स पर केंद्रित हो चुका है. अब चीजें हम ज़्यादा याद नहीं रखते, यहाँ पर फीड कर देते हैं, भूल जाते हैं. अच्छा, जब हम किसी को मिलते हैं और कोई हमें अपना मोबाइल नंबर देता है, तो हम क्या करते हैं? तुरंत सेव करते हैं. अब सेव करने के अलग अलग तरीके होते हैं. पवन दुग्गल है, आप पवन के नाम से सेव करेंगे, दुग्गल के नाम से सेव करेंगे, पवन दुग्गल कर सकते हैं, एडवोकेट दुग्गल कर सकते हैं, साइबर कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. खैर, अब आपका नियंत्रण नहीं है कि आपका नाम किस तरीके से दूसरा व्यक्ति सेव कर रहा है. तो वर्चुअली आपकी संपूर्ण व्यक्तित्व, आपकी छवि जो है उस आदमी के सेव करने पर आधारित हो जाएगी. उदाहरण देता हूं. एक पेज 3 पर्सनालिटी है, बहुत शौकीन है, वाइन विमेन के, दुनिया जानती है. खैर, एक पार्टी में किसी से मिले और उन्होंने अपना कहा मोबाइल नंबर दे दिया. दूसरे व्यक्ति ने उनका मोबाइल नंबर सेव किया. चलिए, उसका नाम है रामश्याम जदू, कुछ मान लें, कुछ नाम हो. तो नॉर्मली अलग अलग तरीके से लोग स्थापित करते हैं. कुछ लोग एडजेक्टिव्स लगा के लिखते हैं कि यार उसको वहां मिले थे तो ट्रेड फेयर रामश्याम जदू. इस आदमी ने लिख दिया वुमनाइजर रामश्याम जदू, और उसके बाद भूल गया, और उसके बाद ट्रू कॉलर डाउनलोड हो गया. ट्रू कॉलर कहता है कि जब मोमेंट आप मुझे डाउनलोड करोगे, मैं आपके मोबाइल फोन के अंदर घुसूंगा, जितना सारा कंटेंट है सब निकाल के ले जाऊंगा और स्कैंडिनेविया में एक सर्वर स्थित है, वहां पर जाकर रखूंगा. तो उसके बाद से अब एक बड़ी बुनियादी समस्या इस व्यक्ति के साथ हो गई है. अब ये जब जिसको कॉल करते हैं, जिसके पास ट्रू कॉलर होता है, तो आ जाता है वुमनाइजर रामश्याम जदू पर. पिछले 8 महीनों से हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि ये हट जाए, लेकिन फिर हट नहीं पा रहा. तो आप ये देखिए, अब मैंने कुछ लोगों को कुछ क्लाइंट्स पर एडवाइस किया है, खासतौर पे कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर में, जो नई बातें आगे बताते हैं। वो कहते हैं साहब ऐसा है, हमने एक नया फोन लिया है, हमें किसी का बैंड बजाना है, तो बैंड बजाने के लिए उनके नंबर अलग अलग तरीकों से अलग अलग एडजेक्टिव्स के साथ शेयर करें, सेव किया जाएगा और फिर उसको हम ट्रू कॉलर के ऊपर अपलोड कर देंगे। ट्रू कॉलर क्या करेगा, रैंडमली उठा लेगा, तो आपका कभी नहीं पता कि आपके बारे में क्या एडजेक्टिव आने वाला है, और द मोमेंट वो एडजेक्टिव आएगा कहीं ना कहीं आपकी छवि को नकारात्मक रूप से प्रभावित जरूर कर पाएगा, ये मेरा मानना है। बाय एंड लार्ज आज की तारीख में एक नया सोशल शुरू हुआ है। आप लोगों में से स्नैपचैट किसने सुना है? स्नैपचैट
posting of an article which is dealing with a nude person, and the message being given is anti-apartheid. That certainly can't titillate you. So those kind of issues. So I will just discuss some cases which so that's something in the future जो बहुत ही धीरे, और as Pawan pointed out is very slow, because the technology is developing at such a rapid pace that I don't think the government even understands it, and the people who are in the legislature, by the time they understand the technology, it's already passed us by. And the people who know it are not getting involved, or are not being involved deliberately, because I think people like Pawan should be there to guide the people what is going to happen tomorrow. We have to anticipate rather than follow it. By the time they will put something on Facebook, probably Facebook will be dead. And it makes no sense. If you see today our film industry today, there's a censorship requirement to go to the censor board, where I can make a film here and upload it, and more people will see my film than the film in the theaters. But the film industry has to go through a censorship process. He can post that and run it on satellite television, there's no censorship. But if he shows it on a celluloid in a theater, he has to go through a censorship requirement and post the censor certificate. Then I also was in charge dealing with the smoking ban in cinemas. You can't show a depiction of smoking in cinemas. How do you stop that on a social media, on a YouTube? I can post anything I like. So uncensored movies, smoking bans, make no sense. So what are you legislating on? We are legislating on the wrong things. Fortunately or unfortunately, our children have to learn to have exposure to this and learn to live with it. You'll have to teach your children to say that smoking is bad. So if you see a famous actor smoking, don't follow it. And I think our children are a lot smarter than we are.
Oh, yes.
They recognize and respect this medium a lot more than we do. So they understand it. I think they are careful about it a lot more than we are, because they understand it a lot better. And all these issues which Pawan has raised, these children understand. We read about it and understand it. They play with it and understand it. And they develop these websites. But the good news is also that it's a very positive medium. Electronics is a very positive medium. We have no physical files whatsoever. I need a case from my office today. I can call my office. They put it in the Dropbox. My junior, myself, we open it on the Dropbox and put it in a file. Now, what is the security of that? Of course, these are public litigation files. But if my laptop, it's a 3G laptop, iPad, it can get hacked. Somebody can get access to those files. Fortunately or unfortunately, that is the future. I don't think any of us will be sitting with physical files 10 years down the line. So there is a benefit of that. We obviously in the intellectual property world use social media a lot now to establish reputation. There was a very recent judgment this year, 2004, Cadbury versus Lotte, in which, so I obviously went on Westlaw and did Facebook, Twitter, social media, and saw how courts have dealt with this issue. You'll be surprised there are at least 10 judgments where Wikipedia has been cited as precedent to say the definition in Wikipedia is this, and right up to the Supreme Court. I can give you that citation. I just did that on Wikipedia while we were sitting. There is a citation for Wikipedia on a Supreme Court judgment. State of Uttar Pradesh versus Mohan Meekan Breweries Limited.
State of Uttar Pradesh
versus Mohan Meekan Breweries. This is 2011, 14 SCR 98. So the Supreme Court actually relied on for definition of beer in a excise case.
2011?
2011, volume 14, SCR 98. Or 2011, 13 SCC 588. I can here see Bombay High Court, the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Forum, the Delhi High Court, the Bombay High Court, the Calcutta High Court having cited Wikipedia For non-governmental organizations, fluorescent lamps, definition of beer, as per history of payroll, as per Wikipedia. So Wikipedia today, even though it's not a verified site, Wikipedia is trying to now verify information as you go. But courts have readily accepted Wikipedia. There has also been criticism in some judgments of Wikipedia not being a legitimate source. But Wikipedia seems to have become a very reliable source of information for cases, which courts have accepted. In the case of Cadbury versus Lotte, the issue was that Lotte had launched chocolates before Cadbury had. And they got to know of that, obviously, through the internet, where Cadbury was selling chocolates outside of India. And the court readily accepted the fact that the Malaysian site could be accessed in India on Facebook, their Facebook site. And therefore, Lotte had knowledge. So there's a finding of the court, just as Muralidhar said. Lotte had knowledge of their launch because that's also a Korean company. In Korea, Chocolates is owned by Cadbury. In Malaysia, in large parts of the world, Chocolates is owned by Cadbury. So even though they're not selling in India, they had knowledge and people in India would have knowledge. How do we establish that by hard antiseptic, they're trying to portray Dettol? And in the minds of the public, a harsh antiseptic means Dettol. So our argument was, first of all, we are 96% owners of the antiseptic market. Antiseptic liquid, 96% of the market, 85% of the market is Dettol. And it's harsh because the only antiseptic that stings is Dettol. Savlon doesn't sting. So what they are trying to really say is, how did we prove it? So this is what Justice M.N. has had to say, that I've seen media reports filed by the plaintiff, it is prima facie clear that from the reports carried out in leading press agencies such as Business Standard as well as internet and social media such as India Television, First Post, Twitter and other blogging sites, the public is aware that the impugned advertisement
Right, we're always tempted. Now whenever we are in social media, something what is speech, it has to be let off.
Why is speech not allowed? Defamation.
Only on 2-3 reasons. Like for example, allow me to say, like if my speech is against state, it is sedition, it is definitely punishable. If it hurts religion, it is punishable. Or caste. Otherwise, it's not. For example, if an IPC says so, if I say I want to kill you, per se it is not punishable unless it's a conspiracy.
It's not for
speech per se.
You pose your question.
My question is that the speech per se, as I say, unless it hurts religion or state or a caste, it is not punishable. It is not punishable. Speech per se is not punishable. I mean,
Manish, you are absolutely right. The same standard which will apply to speech in life will apply even to speech.
So what I want to say is, suppose if I post something on a Facebook, it is my speech. Per se, if it is not against state, if it's not against...
If it is a threat, then it will be treated as such.
In fact,
reasonable restrictions have to be there.
19.2.
Yes.
So therefore,
Article 19.1a and 19.2. Your restrictions on 19.2 will apply.
Yes.
And that's not only against threat against state, your defamation falls under 19.2 and an exception under 19.2.
correct. Although defamation apply is there, but
The only difference is speech itself is not always tracked.
There is an expansion of the concept of the privacy also.
You have to understand speech, if it's not trapped somewhere, you can put a different meaning to it. In a medium like social media where it's trapped in words or photographs, the meaning becomes apparent, it becomes clearer.
Relevant.
So libel is more difficult to prove than defamation
To all,
for this one
especially
reason.
those people who are tech savvy. Actually, like if both of us are friends, I tagged you in a picture. And then Sir can see my pictures also because you are tagged. You and Sir are friends. I am not friends with Sir. Right. So Sir can see my pictures also because I am tagged along with you. Yes. So how do we stop this? And then there is a crime.
Facebook has a friend of
No, I can't block everybody. No, I can't block everyone.
You should not.
That's